we call this an epidemic levels of sexual assault and domestic violence in the state. But there are examples where you can have a whole society coming together and saying enough, right? We're not doing this anymore. And the one example that I've kind of looked to, because a lot of people say, well, this, you're never gonna fix this. So I don't think that's the case. A generation ago, it was very common, almost like accepted, that people would go out, and the troopers certainly know this, and go drinking and then go driving, right? You even had a statement that kind of said that was acceptable, one for the road, right? You would just kind of get in your car, and it wasn't considered kind of socially unacceptable. And then you started to have a movement, I think nationally. This is the one example that I think is a really good example. Mothers Against Drunk Driving and all these other things, where all of a sudden the whole society started going, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Why isn't this really socially unacceptable? Why is it okay for people to go drinking and driving and then get in a car and kill someone? And so you have now, I think it's in a generation you have across America, nobody does that. I mean, people do it, but it's not acceptable, right? If you see a friend getting in the car, looks a little drunk, you kind of, hey, stop it. So the way we've thought about this is we can do that too with sexual assault and domestic violence. And so, one of the most powerful things for me in experience this, and I think one of the most powerful things that we're all trying to do together is standing by and supporting each other. And that can be in a lot of different ways, but I'll give you a very personal example to me that kind of shakes me. So when the governor took office, Governor Parnell, our very first cabinet meeting, we had a very big discussion on this issue, and it was a number of us talking. Joe Masters, the head of the troopers, who's a local boy across the bay here from Unalakleet. We were all talking about these numbers, and gosh, we got to really focus on this. And so Governor asked me and Joe to work really hard on putting together a big campaign, and we kept coming back to him with a plan. And I knew we were getting ready to launch this big campaign. We did it in Anchorage with the troopers, a big kind of rollout of Choose Respect the first time we did it. So I was asked to give a speech at the American Municipal League a couple weeks before, right? And so I was going over a number of things that we were doing in the government and me as Attorney General. But I really highlighted this because I knew we were getting ready to ramp it up. And I just said, hey, I ran through the numbers. This is from a huge crowd. And I just said, this is outrageous, right? Come on, Alaska. I mean, really? Can't we do better than this? And I said, we are going to come down. We're going to focus on this. We are going to change this, right? We're going to do all we can. So after my speech, I had a woman come up to me. And I was just walking, I was just going home. And she was from one of the villages, and she was crying, right? And she asked me she stopped and said, can I talk to you? I said, sure. She said, can I have your speech? And I said, well, I just kind of was going off notes, right? I didn't, but I can send you the notes, if you'd like. And she said that, she had been assaulted. She always felt so alone. And then when people start to actually talk about it and raise the issue, that the issue of kind of feeling alone, and you can feel empowered if other people in the community are saying, wait a minute, we shouldn't do this. You don't have to feel alone. And so that's what she said. She said that people talking about that actually helps, really helps. So